بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Last time we were talking about the foundation of Islamic civilization. We mentioned that the Qur'an is the main source of establishing any human civilization. The Qur'an founded the human civilization. Yes, we don't see some sort of innovations or inventions during the time of the revelation, during the early time of the call of Islam, but we see the foundation of the civilization. We see the importance and the establishment of this civilization within the human mind. We see how the Quran is considering observation, utilizing mental capabilities and senses, and exploring the universe and the nature, deducing the laws of nature, considering all these acts as part of worship and being closer to God. This is what we really can call it the foundation of civilization. When the Quran was encouraging and promoting the idea of thinking, the process of thinking, telling people how to think, focusing on the importance of thinking, rationalizing everything around them, guiding people and teaching them how to rationalize their beliefs and thoughts and ideas, how to think about their fathers and forefathers and their ideas and concepts, how to criticize certain ideas and things around them within the society or within themselves and life, how to ask certain questions, the bigger questions like the purpose of life, the purpose of creation, the purpose of a human life on earth. All these actions and deeds considered as the main components of a human civilization. That's why the focus of the Quran at that time was on these specific kind of components. The Quran in many verses and in many chapters, specifically those surahs and chapters revealed at the beginning of the call of Islam in Mecca. Many verses in the Quran focusing on this idea. Look at the mountains, look at the sky, look at the earth, how it's spread out. Look and try to think and ask, who is the one who created all these things around you in such a systematic way? The approach that the Holy Quran establishes actually involves mastering, harmonizing energy and capability to focus on one common goal, achieving higher degrees of effectiveness, innovation, and creativity. This can be clearly seen in the way the Quran stimulates the human mind, pushing it towards full utilization of the human senses and moving it away from everything that causes its recession through a systematic approach. That's why we see the whole Quran consistently calls for pondering the majesty of the universe and seeking to understand its system and laws through observation, considering observation again as one of the highest levels of worship. If anyone, any human, any Muslim would like to be closer to God, then let him observe, let him think, let him ask, let him again and again focus on this creation, the creation of universe and the creation of a human being. The Holy Quran and the Prophet, peace be upon him, actions and words established a very important concept at that time which was never known at all, not only in Arabia, but even outside Arabia. The concept of preserving the environment, Definitely at that time people would never think about such things, would never think that this environment and this earth should be actually, people should take good care of this environment. No one could think about this, but the Qur'an, for the first time, is introducing the concept of protection and protecting the environment. Moreover, the Qur'an established the principles, rules, and precepts that control and regulate the relationship between man and earth. A balanced relationship to preserve the environment so that it continue to fulfill its role as specified by the all-knowing Creator to support a human life. We are witnessing today, in our recent days, many problems, many obstacles within the protection of environment, within the resources, the natural resources. People talking about many problems all over the world. If we really think and try to analyze why do we have all these problems, we will see the answer in the Quran. When people do not take care of this earth and environment, this is the result. Pollution, some other problems are just a result of what humans are doing on earth. Mischief, corruption, by any means, definitely will lead to that result, to that end, and even worse. So we see the Quran for the first time from the early beginning focusing on the relation, a balanced relationship between human and earth, which is definitely something can be considered as one of the most important components in any human civilization. Look, for example, at the chapter Al-Mulk, Surah Al-Mulk, the verse 15. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, He it is who has made the earth easy to live upon. Go about then in all its regions and partake of the sustenance which He provides, and always bear in mind that unto Him you shall be resurrected. So here again we see the idea and the concept of a balanced relationship between earth and man. Man is not the owner of the earth, is not the owner. The owner is the one who created this earth and created man as well. What is the role of man and a human within that sense? To protect, to take care, to develop, to build new things, to fulfill his purpose on this earth, but definitely not to destroy, not to go against the principles of this universe. Everything in this nature and universe is set according to certain system. People should not go against that system, should never actually go against all these principles, and through, of course, certain deeds and actions of misusing. The Quran, in many verses, is using another term, which is quite important, can be considered as keyword here in the concept of preserving the environment. Khalifa, or regent. Man is a regent, which means that he is a guardian for this earth, but not an owner. He was made as a regent to manage, to invest, to develop his living environment. He has to deal with it as a keeper for Allah's earth and land, but not as the one who is misusing and destroying all these resources. The noble Prophet, peace be upon him, always encouraged his companions and people to cultivate and preserve plants. Imagine at that early stage, the Prophet who is taking care of big problems related to religion, related to the establishment of the state, the first state, he has time and effort and is spending a lot of effort to make people aware of the importance of cultivating and preserving plants. Many sayings of the Prophet narrated in this context. If a Muslim plants a tree or sows seeds, and then a bird or a person or an animal eats from it, this is counted as a charitable reward for him. Imagine, here we see the connection and the direct link between the worship, the concept of worship in Islam as a religion, and the concept of actions, positive morals, positive actions, positive relationship with earth and nature. The noble Prophet considered protecting the environment from all forms of pollution, again as a charitable act, deserving of a reward from God, which emphasize the link that he mentioned between and maintained between the teachings of Islam and the reality of life on earth. In one of his sayings, he said, "The deeds of my people, good and bad, were presented before me, and I found the removal of harmful objects from the road among their good deeds." Imagine, he is talking about removing harmful objects from the road among their good deeds. Why? Because it's very important. It's part of religion to build. It's part of religion not to destroy, to add something positive, but definitely not to destroy. And this is what the Qur'an is trying to do within the human civilization. When we said that is Qur'an was founding and establishing the human civilization. Through what? Through all these concepts. So we see after that, later on, decades after the beginning, the early beginning of the call of Islam, we see the fruits, how people started to enjoy the fruits of this foundation, the real foundation of civilization. The mercy of the noble Prophet, peace be upon him, extended to animals, birds, and even ants. He demonstrated that care and compassion was an act of worship for which man will be actually recompensed for doing and punished for abandoning as well. He emphasized the great importance of compassion towards all living creations and their offspring. The impact of this on preserving the ecosystem has finally been recognized by Islam as a religion, by the Prophet himself. So all these components, and they are just examples, showed something very specific related to the human civilization, showed that the most important fruit of any civilization, any human civilization, is ideas, concepts, thoughts, because all our actions and deeds later on will be established accordingly to these thoughts and ideas. And that's exactly what the Qur'an did and the Prophet practiced. See you next time. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.